Have you noticed something? Every time Femi Otedola makes a major move in the stock market, thousands of Nigerian investors start paying attention. Not because he gives stock tips, not because he tells everyone what to buy. It's because history has shown that when one of Nigeria's most successful businessmen writes a really big check, the market listens. And this week, he did it again. On July 22nd, Femi Otedola bought another 706.13 million shares of FirstHoldCo in a single transaction worth 77.58 billion naira. That one purchase alone pushed its ownership of the bank from 20.42% to 21.96%, making him one of its largest shareholders. Now, if you have been following the markets, your first reaction is probably something like, if Otedola is still buying after this huge rally, maybe I should too. And honestly, that's exactly how a lot of investors like to think. But here's the question almost nobody stops to ask. Has following Femi Otedola's investment actually worked? Not just this time, not just with FirstHoldCo, every major public investment he's made over the years. If you had copied him into Forte Oil, followed him into Grego Power, and now you are thinking about following him into FirstHoldCo, would you actually have made money? That's exactly what we are going to investigate in this video. You see, the reason this question matters right now is simple. FirstHoldCo has become one of the hottest stocks in Nigeria. Just 1 month ago, on the 23rd of June, it was trading at around 61 naira per share. By the end of 23rd of July, it was trading at roughly 119 naira. That's a gain of more than 96% in a single month. And the market value has surged. It has actually hit 5 trillion naira. And this isn't just hype with nothing behind it. For the first half of 2026, FirstHoldCo reported a profit before tax of 653.5 billion naira, up from 356.1 billion naira a year earlier, an increase of more than 83%. Earnings per share climbed from 6 naira 84 kobo to 11 naira 74 kobo, and the group strengthened its capital position through a private placement alongside stronger operating cash flows. So what exactly is Femi Otedola seeing here that has him buying even more after a 96% rally? He doesn't invest like the average shareholder. That much is already public knowledge. He's known for a small number of very large, high conviction bets rather than spreading his money across dozens of companies. But knowing that raises a real question. Is this actually a repeatable pattern? Something you could learn from and expect to see again? Or is FirstHoldCo just one more isolated bet that happened to get a lot of attention? That's exactly what we are going to dig into, starting with his track record. Now, to answer this particular question that we have been hammering on, I went back through his biggest public investments, and what I found was surprisingly very much consistent. The first thing that stood out was the type of businesses he likes to choose. Across almost 2 decades, Otedola has repeatedly focused on industries that sit at the heart of the Nigerian economy. The first one was, petroleum through African Petroleum, later renamed Forte Oil, then power generation through Grego Power, and now banking through FirstHoldCo. Different companies, but all operating in sectors that millions of Nigerians and thousands of businesses rely on every single day. The second pattern is when he tends to enter. He doesn't usually chase fashionable companies at the peak of excitement. Instead, his biggest investments have often come at moments when a business is entering a new chapter. Grego was acquired during Nigeria's power sector privatization. At FirstHoldCo, he has publicly described his investment as a turnaround with a purpose, signaling that he sees an opportunity for significant change in the banking sector rather than simply buying an already perfect business. Then comes perhaps the clearest pattern of all, the size of his bets. This isn't someone buying 2% or 3% of a company to diversify a portfolio. You see, when Otedola commits, he commits in size. He owned roughly 75% of Forte Oil before exiting. He built a controlling position in Grego Power, eventually holding more than 95% indirectly around the time it listed. And today, he has increased his FirstHoldCo stake to almost 22%, making him the bank's largest individual shareholder. Finally, there is the question of time. You see, despite all the attention his investments receive, Otedola is really a short-term trader. His two biggest long-term investments, Forte Oil and Geregu Power, were each held for roughly 12 years before he exited or substantially monetized them. The main exception was Transcorp in 2023, which lasted just 15 days and appears to have been a tactical situation rather than part of his usual approach. Now, after looking across all these investments, I think it's fair to say there is a pattern. Not because every investment produced the same outcome, and not because every situation was identical, but because the strategy itself keeps repeating. Large positions, essential industries, an active role in the business, and a willingness to stay invested for many years. The next question is the one that really matters. Did that pattern actually create wealth for ordinary shareholders like me and you who invested alongside him? Now, the answer is a big yes, but not in the way you might be thinking. Because once you go past the headlines, you realize following Femi Otedola has never been as simple as just buying the same stock he bought. The real experience depended on when you bought in, how you eventually got out, whether the shares were actually easy to buy and sell in the first place, and maybe most importantly, whether you are the person controlling the company or just another minority investor watching from the outside. Take Forte Oil for example. On paper, Otedola's exit was extraordinary. In 2019, he sold roughly 75% stake at about 16 naira 25 kobo per share, a price that was almost 90% higher than where the stock was actually trading at the time. But that wasn't the price ordinary shareholders received. Those who stayed invested watched the share price crash over the following years, falling to somewhere between 10 and 20 naira before the company was eventually delisted in 2023, with the remaining minority investors bought out at just 17 naira 38 kobo per share. So while Otedola walked away with one of the most successful exits of his career, the people who stayed behind experienced something completely different. Now compare that with Geregu Power and the picture changes completely. Operationally, Geregu became one of the strongest dividend stories on the Nigerian stock market. It paid 8 naira per share in both 2022 and 2023, then increased that to 8 naira 50 kobo for 2024 financial year. If you actually own the shares, the cash coming back to you was genuinely very much impressive, but there was a different problem, which is actually getting hold of the shares in the first place. You see, when Geregu listed, only about 4.5% of the company was available to ordinary investors because Otedola's investment vehicle controlled roughly 95.5% of it. Even years later, after he sold down parts of his stake, the amount of shares ordinary investors could actually buy or sell stayed below 17% of the company. So yes, investors could genuinely benefit alongside him, but they weren't necessarily playing under the same conditions that he was playing at. And that's really the biggest lesson from looking at these two companies side by side. Following Otedola and actually investing like Otedola are not always the same thing, which brings us right back to today. Because everything we just looked at, Forte Oil, Geregu Power, that's history already played out. FirstHoldCo is happening live, right now in front of us. So before we even get to whether you should be copying him at all, let's actually check where it stands. Let's pull up the numbers on Affymetrix live, so you're not just taking my words for it. So we're on Affymetrix. Let's quickly search for FirstHoldCo. Search for FirstHoldCo. Look at the PE ratio. All right, so you scroll down a little bit. And then you see the P ratio, wow, it's currently at 39x. The last time I checked was at 31x. So it's currently at 39x, the P ratio of FirstHoldCo. Then let's check Zenith Bank. Zenith. The P ratio for Zenith Bank is at 4.99x. And we check the P ratio for GTCO. Then the P ratio for GTCO is at 5.55x, right? So the P ratio basically tells you the price of the company right now compared to its earnings. And the earnings that was used on Affymetrix was the earnings of 2025. FirstHoldCo just released their 2026 first half results, right? And yeah, I would say P ratio for FirstHoldCo looks, crazy expensive compared to the likes of GTCO and Zenith Bank. So here's what that actually tells us. FirstHoldCo is trading noticeably more expensive than both of its closest peers. On the surface, that might sound like a red flag, but remember the first half 2026 result we opened with profit before tax up more than 83%. So the real question isn't simply is FirstHoldCo expensive, it's whether the market is paying up for growth that's already proven itself or growth it's hoping continues. And beyond the earnings and the leadership story we have already gone through, two more things are worth knowing. Otedola isn't just talking about rebuilding the institution, he's personally putting over 320 billion naira of his own cash into it without growing a single naira, as part of a push towards a 1 trillion naira in paid up capital, double what the central bank actually requires. And separately, the bank has reportedly been getting a lot more aggressive about chasing down money owed to it by borrowers who had failed to pay. That matters because fewer bad loans sitting on the books means fewer losses the bank has to absorb, which in turn means a stronger financial cushion underneath everything else. Now, none of that confirms exactly why the market reacted the way it did, but that is what is actually new on top of everything that we have already covered. So even if fundamentals genuinely support all of this, that still leaves the biggest question of the entire video. Should you be copying what Otedola does at all? Now, here's my answer. I don't think you should copy Femi Otedola, at least not without asking a few questions first. Because the biggest mistake investors make isn't following billionaire investors. It's assuming they are making the same investments. Now, think about your own investment or position in FirstHoldCo if you have already invested. By the time you hear about the purchase, are you buying at the same price that he bought, or has the market already reacted? And even if you are buying the same stock, are you actually buying the same opportunity as him? Otedola isn't just buying shares, guys. He's buying influence. He has the ability to shape what happens inside the business in ways ordinary shareholders simply can't. He also has advantages that most of us do not have. Not insider information, but access. Access to management, access to negotiations, access to opportunities that don't exist for the rest of the market. Then there is time. He spent roughly 12 years in Forte Oil, another 12 years in Geregu. Ask yourself now, could you honestly sit through a decade of uncertainty without changing your mind on an investment? And perhaps the most important question of all, why are you buying? Because if your answer is, well, Otedola bought, that's why I'm buying, that's probably not good enough investment reason or thesis. And tomorrow, if he changes his mind like he changed in Trustcore and decide to cut his stakes or exit completely, what would your plan be? Because if your strategy disappears the moment someone else sells, it was never really your strategy to begin with. That's the biggest lesson I took away from this investigation. Pay attention to great investors, learn from great investors, but never outsource your thinking to them, because following a billionaire and investing like one are two completely different things. Because at the end of the day, this video was never really about Femi Otedola. It was about something every investor or individual watching this video has to learn. There's nothing wrong with studying successful investors. In fact, you probably should. But the moment you stop asking your own questions, that's where the problem arises. If you found value in this video, you want to do well to smash the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. We want to get to 100,000 subscribers. Leave a comment telling me what you learned and share this video to someone you think will find value. There's also a link to join my WhatsApp channel in the description and pinned comment. And until next time, my colleagues, you want to stay sharp, stay safe, and invest wisely. Deal.